for those of you that are not quite there yet, the habits you're building right now is where you're going to be in the future. Because it can't be like, I'm gonna start doing a bunch of this right now and I'm gonna switch at the end. It's like if you believe in God, and then you're like, I'm just gonna live whatever life, and then right before I die, I'm gonna switch.
Right.
Like, you're Thanks for joining us this week on the Elite Sales Podcast. I'm joined in studio this week by my special guest from FFL Frontline. We got Rob Kakish, Senior Vice President. We have Sales Manager, and this is only a temporary title till you get the Sales Manager, Vice President, and keep moving up. We have Chris Chavez.
Right, Albert.
So both these guys are joining us out of the Inland Empire today. Appreciate you guys driving in.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for inviting us. Yeah. Beautiful spot.
Thank you. So, anytime we have an opportunity to have guests in from other agencies, people that can come in and share, because the thing is, we're all one FFL family.
Right.
The thing is, I've talked to Rob every time I see him.
Always.
We always connect. I
never miss his happy birthdays. I always give you a happy birthday.
You do. We're always at convention.
Right.
Yeah. But actually, I think I met you for the first time at a convention.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Correct.
So we actually had a couple of his uplines. We had Bruce from FFL Prolific on not too long ago. Stephen Yee was actually here from FFL Skypoint. So I'm really close to that whole agency.
Yeah.
Nice.
That this whole agency, these are people that we talk to on a regular basis. I'm constantly comparing notes, trying to figure out how we can continue to grow and help build our agency faster. So every time we get an opportunity to speak with them, it's an honor for us. I just want to go over a couple of announcements, so first of all, before tonight, make sure you guys go and purchase your leads. Make sure that you guys save, print out, whatever you need to do, put it all out because they're actually shutting down the CRM tonight at 9 p.m. Is it Eastern or Pacific? So do it before 9 p.m., whatever your time is. Just be on the safe side. Make sure you purchase leads in advance. It's scheduled to launch with the new CRM. It's going to be coming back up on Sunday. Okay, but it could be sooner than that. But you always want to over prepare. Make sure that if you guys are going out there to protect families this weekend, that you are prepared. Don't get caught with your pants down. So that's the first thing. Also, we have I was actually meeting here with George, Clifton, Sammy, and Yoel. We're talking about an idea. We're talking about setting up a live dials for everybody. We know certain groups have their own live dials already, and that's great. You don't have to change anything. But for everyone that wants to plug in, these guys were talking about just sharing some ideas, going on there and doing some trainings. Talise said she's going to be hopping on to do some sessions from time to time, which is our performance coach. We have a performance coach here. So if you need a place to dial, that's something that they're going to be running on a regular basis. So more details will be coming as we launch that. Also, one other thing we wanted to go over, the primary carriers. What are the main carriers you guys use?
Americo #1.
Okay.
Aetna. Americo, Aetna, Mutual Omaha, especially for our children's whole life and guaranteed advantage, our accidentals. John Hancock, if we have to, they've been good with the autism for children. We've been running into that here and there. And that's prosperity as well. And that's pretty much what we lock it down with. Of course, our MMs and whatnot, transfer some big IULs if we have to. But other than that, it's Americo, Aetna, some prosperity, some Moo.
Okay. You guys have a lot. When you guys have new agents come in, do they get confused? Because do they ever get overwhelmed, have too many options?
They do. So especially if they're in the in-home, if they're with the client, we just tell them, do what you need to do and just give your upline a call at that time, right? Because even when we came in, I was a little confused, but when you're put in that position, you kind of figure it out because everything's figure outable, right? As long as you get in front of the client, I tell everybody your first 15, 20 clients, 30 clients, give us a call. We'll tell you what product to go to. Right. So I think that kind of narrows it down, gives them a basic blueprint. Just get in front of the client. We'll tell you what product to go into after that.
Well, I bring this up because, we at FFL, once you hit the vice president level, which you've hit, you start getting VP bonuses, right? Nice.
Very nice.
Okay. And they only get nicer as your volume continues to
Correct.
go up, as you continue to grow. So there's been some recent changes, as far as the total overall VP bonuses. There's no one out there that does anywhere close. If you want specific numbers, reach out to one of us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll gladly tell you.
Gladly tell you.
But once you hit vice president, you get to a certain level, then, of production for your team, then you start qualifying for these bonuses. So, to maximize your bonus, there's 3 main carriers now that did you talk to Stephen?
Yep. Today. Yep.
Right.
They updated it.
So the 3 main ones, it's going to be Americo, Aetna, AIG. Okay. So, which actually is kind of perfect, because it's all about simplicity in this business, because as being brokers, and we have all these different options.
Correct.
Sometimes it does become overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have too many options. Like you go to Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a lot on that menu. You're right.
Barney's Beanery. Have you been there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes you go on there, you're like, I'm just flipping pages the whole time. I'm like, I don't know what to get.
Right.
There's too many options. So keep it simple for yourself. Let's narrow it down to the 3 that actually will pay us the most in terms of bonuses.
Agreed.
It can be Americo, Aetna, AIG. Plenty of reasons to use that. Americo's got that 8% bonus.
Correct.
With the first bonus every 6 months. The total volume counts towards an additional bonus on top of your already high comp. Aetna has one of the highest comps, or highest carrier contract.
Yeah.
Caught myself, but yeah, and AIG, it's a guaranteed issue plan, so if neither one of those first 2 can cover the client, if they have some type of condition that makes them uninsurable otherwise, they can actually get AIG. So you have all bases covered if you focus on those 3 primarily. Fully bonusable when it comes to the vice president bonus. And, for those of you that are not quite there yet, the habits you're building right now is where you're going to be in the future. Because it can't be like, I'm going to start doing a bunch of this right now, and I'm going to switch at the end. It's like if you believe in God, and then you're like, I'm just going to live whatever life, and then right before I die, I'm going to switch.
Right.
Like, you're Sam was pointing out, that's his game plan. Do you think that's an effective game plan?
He goes, no, but we'll go with it.
But whatever habits you start building right now. So the thing is, if the sooner that you can start adapting to that, and the thing is, yeah, I mean, we can always think about, oh yeah, this one does a little bit of different thing here. This one might be a little bit cheaper in this regard, but on overall, we're selling value.
Yes.
So you just focus on the overall value. You think about what it's going to do if it's good for the client, if it's good for you, it's good for the company. You can go with it. So
I agree.
And plus the simplicity of it, especially if you're a new agent, if you just focus on 3, like you'll eliminate most of your
all that
product
clutter.
knowledge that you think you need to know, which is not that important. You're not going to confuse yourself. You're not going to overthink it when you're there. Just focus on what's directly in front of you. Simplify your life.
I agree.
You'll close more deals.
Definitely.
So that's one thing I wanted to just get out the way. Yeah. So you guys are making the switch as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We should make that announcement tonight. Send that text out, actually.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, now that we got the announcements out the way, I do want to talk to these 2 guys, these 2 gentlemen, since while we have them in town,
Absolutely.
while we have them in the office, in the studio.
Absolutely.
So tell us, give us a little background. We'll start with you, Chris. How long you've been with FFL? What'd you do before this? Why'd you join?
Totally. Well, first of all, thank you for having us. It's a privilege and an honor to always, engage and share content amongst family and friends and so forth, and with all of you guys at FFL. So for me, I just a little bit of background. I've been with FFL for I want to say a little bit over 8 months now. I started in July of last year. I actually transitioned over from another IMO, and it just wasn't working out for me there, unfortunately. And but thankful for coming into the industry with that IMO, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here with you guys, and and this amazing opportunity that has completely, literally changed my life. So just a little bit further back, I been in the corporate, not public service arena for which was almost 21 years now. I recently resigned on Monday of last week.
What made you resign?
FFL made me resign. It made me resign in the aspect of just the opportunity. I was able to really help so many families that I figured, if I do this full time, it's only going to get better. So, being stuck in a 9 to 5 corporate world, public sector management arena, it's the same thing, routine, and you get that to that roadblock, So I had already hit that. I hit that roadblock. I wasn't gonna go anywhere else. In the public sector field, once you hit a certain cap, that like in terms of like salary and things like that, it stops there.
Right.
And there's nowhere else from that. And in order to promote or, to get to a higher, go up that corporate ladder, somebody has to leave. Somebody has to retire. Yeah, exactly. and so, I got to that point as well where, opportunities were just not available because people are going to sit on those items or those titles or, positions for a long time until they retire and so forth. So that leaves folks that are, coming in or that have been there for quite some time, like myself, you just get stagnant. You hit that roadblock. So, thankfully FFL presented itself and I got some amazing leadership and great mentorship. And we've been able to really maximize on that. And just went and hit the pavement full throttle, man.
So if you hadn't found FFL, would you have retired? I mean, what was your plan long term?
Absolutely not. That was the plan at the previous IMO, which I thought was going to be my outlet. When I came to the industry, I thought that was going to give me the opportunity to at some point be able to replace what I had already for so many years. But it was clearly not the case. I have this. That I was just going to say that, Albert.
That's his line right there.
This is the line, right? You sold the dream, but you're living the nightmare. So you're constantly telling.
Look, the dog's name is Marco. Liberty
your
Mutual.
peers and family and friends that
it was. I had a sweater on that said Marco. I'm serious.
It's going to change your life. As cliche as that sounds, but the reality of the matter is, as cliche as that does sound, FFL will change your life. And it has for me. I'm living proof of that. I was
look at that face. They got purple ice cream at Dairy
service. I walked away from the pensions,
the benefits,
the retirement plans, everything. Why? Because Family First Life has given
15
me
minutes.
I'm not rushing. I just asked. Let me add the disclaimer. FFL will change your life if you.
Well, you
work.
are getting it early tonight.
I got
you. Come in 4:30. Don't work.
Yeah,
don't
absolutely. You can't be mad at the results
change.
you're not getting from the work you're not doing. Pretty much,
it's got to be work. You got to work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So being that you came from another IMO prior to FFL, did you have any bit of a skepticism coming into this because you were sold a dream there? It didn't quite come to fruition.
Not necessarily. What really drew me to FFL was, the contracts that we have available here.
Yeah.
I was at a very, very low contract. I had already, gone through my book of business there like 3 times.
It's all warm market.
Warm market, absolutely. So you're talking to friends, family, their friends and family, and your aunt you're reselling or you're rehelping that aunt 3 times
Come
over.
on up, Mary. You need a 7th policy. Come on.
Exactly. So
Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day.
Exactly. So you get to that point where the same thing happened for me as in corporate happened to me in that prior IMO. And so it was like, okay, so now what? And you constantly have to build and recruit in order to sustain your business. And that's what a lot of folks don't understand is that, I talk to folks that are still in those prior IMOs and they strongly believe in that system, in that model, and you can't shake them from that. And I got to admit, I couldn't be shooken for a while too. I was drinking the Kool-Aid
until I got on a Zoom call.
Right. I was drinking the Kool-Aid, and obviously I got on a Zoom call with Rob and with Bruce Williams, and we just really talked about the opportunity here, and it was a no-brainer, Albert.
How did you guys find each other, by the way?
So I had this was back when I was in corporate. I was a finance director, and then there was a kid. Actually, he's about my age.
Still a kid.
So he was at the same IMO as him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had this crazy suit on and this and that. I was like, wow. So I stopped him while I got my, I was getting my green juice. I was like, hey man, what do you do? He goes, I'm in finance. I'm like, oh, I'm in finance. Then I really found out what that was. Long story short, we stayed in touch. When I joined FFL, he was still there. I brought him here. He ended up just leaving and got into jewelry. He introduced me to Vita Santos, who's our SSM right now, FFL Exceed. Introduced me to her. She introduced me to a few other people. I told her, get everybody you can, get on a Zoom call. He was on that
happened to
Zoom
be
call.
on that Zoom call.
He was the one who was the loudest, the most excited, the whole nine. And yeah, ever since then.
You're like, I'm gonna rescue everybody.
Of everybody. And that's exactly what happened. It was like 60, 70 agents.
Yeah.
So that was 8 months ago, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and you know, the best decision ever. I mean, I say it all the time. You know, it's the best decision I made thus far in the financial industry is coming to FFL.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, I mean, I take it there's probably other people that start off part time because they kind of have 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Right.
They want to have a little bit of a parachute. So, what was your schedule when you were doing this part time?
Wow. So part time, you know, again, I sat with Rob. We outlined a lead strategy. We really looked at the days that I had availability on, but primarily for me, I was just so gun ho and hungry. You know, Mondays I would dial, obviously on dial days. I would dial after work. I would dial during my lunch break, and try to book appointments for that same evening. If I could get like 1 or 2 appointments, I would. Worst case scenario, I didn't. I do it all over again Tuesday for Wednesday. So I would try to book appointments Monday or Tuesday afternoon after work, or the same day.
Tuesday evening.
Yeah, Tuesday evening. And if I didn't get anything, I would dial again during my lunch on Tuesday and try to book appointments for that same evening, Tuesday evening, or for Wednesday after work. And it kept just trickling over. And then obviously Fridays, I would really, try to use my lunch break to book for Saturday appointments. And also in the evening, if I didn't have any appointments, I would use that time efficiently as well to go ahead and schedule appointments for Saturday.
Okay.
If not, worst case scenario, I'd schedule appointments after like 12 noon on Saturdays and use Saturday morning to book appointments for that same day and even Sundays. So everything you can figure a way out. There's an opportunity there. I mean, there's ways to figure things out.
After I told him, help that first family, and then see what America or whoever the reward they give you. And then I knew it would drip from there. So
extrapolate these numbers. If you can help this many families,
Right.
You'll be okay. And then he's given up for the last 5, 6, 7 months, pretty much every single weekend, every single Saturday, right? So, and obviously weekends are the main day where you help the most families. And that's what changed everything. That was the main transition, because it was like 1 or 2 or 3 families during the week. And then 3, 4 families that Saturday, Sunday. That's 7, 8 families a week. And that's why on his first month part-time, he was able to help 30 families. Right.
So was that your initial goal, Chris, when you came on? Was it like, I need to do this so I can quit the public sector and I can do this full time? Or was it kind of just like, I'm just gonna try and see how much money I make?
Well, initially that's how it was. Like, I was like, man, this is, I'm actually tripling my contract level. That was enough for me, and so I just put my head down, Albert, to be honest with you. I just put my head down. I did, I asked Rob, I said, Rob, what do I need to do to get results here? And he gave me the map, the game plan. And I said, give me the ball, coach. That's it. I just need you to tell me what to do. I'll take it from there. Yep. And I think, when you're coachable and you follow instructions and that those instructions are given to you and that coachability is given to you, if you follow it, you're going to get results. It's like on a meal plan, right? A meal regimen, a workout regimen, whatever the case is. Yep. In order to get results, you have to put in that time and in that effort. And I was willing to do that because I was doing that already at the prior IMO and I wasn't getting any results. Right. I mean, I got results, but not results that I expected enough for me to say, hey, this is my Willy Wonka golden ticket out, right? Of the factory here. It wasn't.
Yeah, we were talking off air about how much you were making, and it was a pitiful amount. If you want to know specifics,
Yeah.
you can reach out to Chris. He'll let you know.
Yeah.
But
It was sad.
But yeah, I mean, so you're basically giving up. You're calling between all your breaks. You're calling before and after work.
Right.
You're running appointments whenever you can after a full day, full time job. Giving up your weekends, all that. Like, what'd your family, what'd your wife and kids think about all that?
Well, thankfully, my wife is very understanding. Shout out to
amazing.
Abby
Abby's
Chavez.
amazing.
I love her. She's amazing. She's the rock of the family. She holds our three beautiful children down, the fort, everything. She helps me with the back office where I was at the prior IMO. She actually got her license because I needed her license in order to move up in contract levels. That's how some of these IMOs work, right? So she's licensed as well. So she understood.
Okay.
And long story short, she understood that it was going to take sacrifice. It was going to take, us giving up weekends, taking the kids out to lunch or the park or the beach or family functions. By the way, I got banned from family functions because of that prior IMO. So, thanks for that. But pretty much, that's how she understood. And when she saw the results, that first 2 weeks was amazing. Thanks, Rob, for that. Because again, that lead strategy, right? And not only that lead strategy, but that game plan that you guys as our uplines, as our leaders put in place for us new agents is critical, and so for me, it's like, Americo, shout out to Americo. I seen the return, the return of my efforts, quick, immediately. It was so shocking that my wife was like, "Hey, do we get to keep that? Like, is this real?" Because again, at the prior IMO, we weren't used to something like that.
Right.
It take months, to finalize a policy for a family.
Yeah, everyone always talks about, because number one, they pay out very quickly,
Yes.
but also sometimes, even though the contract level that you got, sometimes when you get paid on the first one, you're like, it still feels like a mistake. Right? Like everyone always talks about that. But it's not a mistake.
It's not a mistake.
Just go to work.
No, it's real. As real as it gets. Family first life is real.
So she shared your vision. I mean, so I think that a lot of people struggle with that. Not only convincing their family, but it's sometimes themselves to put in that extra work in between, if you're trying to make this thing work, because you don't really know where you're going. It's hard to put in all that extra effort, sacrifice that time, give up all that fun, give up that, opportunities that you feel like you're missing out on. Yeah. Right. So she obviously shared that with you, and that made a big difference, right?
She understood the assignment.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to see you starting off, really well, and then, got into this position so you can do this full time now. And,
yes.
Which also like, in a weird way, like, you feel like I'm gonna keep my full time position and do this part time or whatever it is, because you want a little bit of a safety net, but you never really get a chance to experience how good it could be here.
Yeah,
because you're doing this at partial capacity, right?
Absolutely, that's exactly what it was. I mean, if I was able to get the results that I got on a part-time basis with the game plan and the strategy and the roadmap that has been already put in place for me, I mean, could you imagine if I'm able to work at a solid 10, 12, 14 hours a day? I mean, it was a no-brainer. So, you're absolutely right, Albert. Just holding on to that safety net. Sometimes it's what handicaps us. Yeah. And Rob talk about that all the time. Is that mindset? He tells me all the time, you got to change that mindset. Because I was in that place, Albert. I was in that place where I was just like, oh, but this, these benefits, or not necessarily the benefits, but my salary was not that bad. But, so knowing that was there, really, I think, hindered the growth potential that could have happened in the last 4 or 5 months. Granted, I mean, we got some good results and we've been able to build, but I think now that I'm able to do this full time, we got our office opening up. We got a game plan that's just, we're here. Frontline is here, and we're gonna make a statement, man.
You guys are here.
Yeah.
So tell us about your office.
We looked at like 8, 9, 10 offices. We had a fresh rookie realtor. Shout out to Ricardo. And he was just showing us offices. I told him our budget. Then he showed us, he goes, hey, you want to, I said, who's the owner's name? Then he said the owner's name. He goes, you see that? You see those offices right there? Those are the main offices. That's the office. He goes, you want to see him? I was like, all right, whatever, let's go. So, so we ended up going over there. I looked at the office and I'm like, okay, wow, there's a difference. There's a difference. It was elite, no pun intended. Yeah, now it's open and we got, there's like 6-7 executive, suites, massive bullpen for everybody to dial. It's great.
It's going to be on work spots.
It's definitely
okay.
It'll be on work spots.
Can you guys share with everyone about how work spots works? Why people should get on?
Yeah, work spots is if you're even taking this even halfway serious, if you're part-time, you have to have work spots. The first thing is you're able to access any office, okay, that's in your local area. Okay, that's the first thing. What does accessing a local office in your area do? First of all, you're able to learn. You're able to sit with other top producers. You're able to sit with just the everyday producer who's trying to learn. Makes you feel normal, right? You can see how a lot of these people get hung up on the phone, the objections that they gotta go through. All this is very normal, right? But it's just part of the process. It's a beautiful thing here, how it's structured. You don't need everybody to say yes. You just need a couple handfuls of people to say yes to make a massive return. So that's the first thing. You get to plug in and feel that camaraderie. Second thing is the lead discount. So if you're somebody like Chris, myself, any other person who produces at a high level, you're consistently buying leads on a daily or weekly basis. The same with work spots. You'll get an email from Fabiana letting you know every single week there is a discount on leads, whether it's 30%, 40%, 50%. So the $99 that you're spending on work spots, it pays for itself 5-10x over, right? So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So for anyone that's looking at it, like, is it what, $99? Mm-hmm. So the thing is, with the lead discounts, even if you're not planning on attending any offices, just get it.
Yeah.
Or the lead discount.
Treat your business seriously. That's how you're gonna get paid seriously.
Yep.
Also, Rob mentioned it. If you want to consistently produce at a high level, it's not you produce consistently at a high level and then you get your leads. Mm-hmm. You get your leads and then you become consistently producing at a high level. So there's an order to that. So the thing is, you want to run a business, you got to have inventory, basically.
Right.
So
perfect.
So if you guys are in, what city are you guys in?
We're in Rancho Cucamonga.
Anyone in the Rancho Cucamonga office area, come check out these guys.
Yep, no doubt.
They're cool.
They'll be on work spots. Cool. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, now that you're an SVP, we were talking earlier, you're looking to move on up. So how's the agency building going for you? So
the agency building is going good. The one thing that I am glad I did. So I've been here for exactly about 16 months now. Okay. And we came into this after Bruce Williams called me, and we were both in the auto industry together. He was a general sales manager. I was a finance director. And we thought this was it for us. We're like, okay, this is good. It's a 6-figure gig. We'll buy a home every 2-3 years. We'll retire at 55 and we'll be all right. But you see the quality of life. It's 70 hours a week. I was grateful that I got in when I was 22 years old, that doesn't happen at that time. So thank God for that. But after 4 or 5 years, I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't think I've taken a weekend off. I don't take weekends off here, but I don't think I even had a partial Saturday off in 2-3 years, because that's where you got to be locked in. Here, we're working all the time, but it's a different type of work, right? So I looked at the relationships that people around me have, even these, so-called successful people, which I learned a lot from and I'm grateful for. But I'm like, I don't think I want that relationship. I don't want that quality of life. So that's when Stephen Yee and Trey Honeycutt hosted a BDM in Rancho Cucamonga. And it was, I think, a day before Christmas, and one person showed up and it was Bruce Williams, right? It was one person showed up and it was Bruce Williams. And he was bought in because he heard of the contract levels, right? When you make the math, you're going to get, this contract level out of this much. It's like, of course. Now, how many times can I do that in a week and a month? So I put a YouTube video up. He called me up right away. And he goes, what up, kid? He always calls me kid. He goes, what up, kid? I was like, what's up, Bruce? What's up? He goes, man, you need to come to the office. I got to show you what just happened. I was like, get out of here. He goes, no, you got to come. You know, I wouldn't steer you wrong. So he helped out 30 families his first month. I ended up getting my test. I think there was like another month and a half before I could schedule my test, but there was one up north. So I drove like 6-7 hours, stayed in a motel, got the test done, drove back. And then he's like, all right, it's game time. Go. We didn't know what to do. He barely knew what to do. And 25 families my first month. And I was like,
Well, going back to that real quick, didn't know what to do. So all these agents, always like a lot of new agents, like they get paralyzed and they just think like, oh, I need to learn all the products first. I need to like, do you guys, where do you guys keep all the scripts? How do I know all the products? Which one am I going to use?
mm-hmm.
Well, what was going through your head when you guys started?
We like at the end of the day, a year and a half later, everybody's in a different position. So there's anybody who's joining now has a lot more structure and assistance, right? Stephen, you was not where he was at. You weren't where you were at, etc. So me and Bruce were kind of in it. He goes, dude, I went on the CRM. I bought these cherry picks. They were like $3-4, whatever the case is. Just buy a grip of them and just call them and go sit with the families. I'm like, all right. Didn't even give me a script. It's, the basic stuff we go over. And I just sat with them everywhere in our area from LA to San Bernardino County and just went at it. I looked at the products real quick. You go Premier, permanent whole life product, term 125, term product with some living benefits. You get an additional 25% if anything accidental happens. CBO product, living benefits. You get all your money back at the end of the term. Budget them out, folks. Out of these three, which is most affordable, we can always tweak and adjust later. That one, perfect. Can I get a driver license and a voided check, please? Boom, boom, boom. If they get declined, pivot here. That's it. There's your product
simple.
knowledge.
That's it.
No, but I'm we were talking about the bonusable carriers earlier.
Yeah.
So if you stick to just America, you'll shorten your learning curve so quickly.
Yeah.
Because number one is instant decision.
Mm-hmm. Which is beauty.
You run through the first part, you get the prescription check and MIB check.
Mm-hmm.
So right up, you do the pre-check. It'll tell you they look good to go so far. Ask the rest of the questions, or probably not going to qualify, or not going to qualify. Then you can pivot to another carrier. You can try Aetna, you can try AIG.
And that's how you learn too. Like going through America, that's how you'll learn as well. Yeah. Okay, if they get denied here, I can go here and here.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big deal as well.
So sometimes you must get this too. You get a lot of agents saying like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to buy leads, but I'm waiting for the rest of my carriers to come in.
Yeah.
It's like,
I started off with Prosperity.
Yeah.
That was my first. Derek started off with Prosperity too. We only had Prosperity, and we were in the field.
The contract within Dare too.
Yeah.
Another great carrier.
We
Shout out
my
my man Jack Heller.
My first month was all American.
Oh yes, my man Jack. I just seen him actually in Arizona. So thanks for that conversation.
You're always welcome here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, when it comes to America, the instant decision, and then on top of that, you guys heard they're going to start contracting people within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
We're the mafia with America. So
Pretty much.
And man, just to touch back on that product knowledge thing, I understand and I'm empathetic to where a lot of the agents are coming from because they want to give the client so much detail. But at the same time, coming from my past experience, when you give the client too much detail, the client comes into a state of somewhat confusion.
Right.
And they're not retaining all that information. And when that happens, their mind is not at sound. So the decision that they are going to make for you is not going to be sound as well. So what I do, I always describe the product, the living benefits, what's the face amount, it doubles if it's accidental. List 3 or 4 of the main points that they really need to know, and move on.
Yeah.
Right. Because that really is the main thing.
Yeah. Did you guys call Steven a lot when you guys are in the field and you guys stuck?
I called Stephen and Bruce. Yeah, I called Stephen and Bruce.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's like one of the best trainers.
He is.
In the company,
incredible. So. Yeah.
But I think a lot of agents, they don't like, they just think, oh, I can't start yet because I don't know enough or I don't know everything. It's like, just run it. You can always call and ask for help.
That's it. And we're always here, at Family First Life. It's such a family camaraderie that you'll always get an answer.
Absolutely.
You'll always get an answer.
Cool. So what's the next step for you now that you're at the level? So let me go back to the office thing. Bruce spends money.
Yes.
I know this, and you know this.
He throws money.
He's probably got
business.
He's probably got like 37 offices or something. So what made you guys decide to get your own office?
So when we first came in, he had an office, not really a work spots area, but it was definitely an office with five suites inside of there. and it was just me and him.
Yeah.
He's like, and I haven't helped the family yet too. He goes, "Hey, you're gonna get an office?" I was like, "Sure." Because I've known him for about a decade, and even when we were just at the basic retail sales level of selling cars, while I was going to college, I already seen him, and I'm like, man, the guy can talk, and I trusted his business acumen. So he's like, "You're gonna grab office?" I said, "Yeah, let's go." I haven't even sold the policy yet, I haven't helped the family yet, but yeah, let's go. And that is what helped me right away be structured, and at least on the production level, do well, and hit Hall of Fame my first year. So that was definitely a big deal. So even before he even passed his license, he had an office ready to go. So he was leading by example in that sense.
Well, it gets you thinking on a different level. Like there's no turning back.
And and there's levels to this, so and then it got to the point where he goes, "Hey man, I get it. You're my baby brother. I love you." I'm like, "I love you too, man." He goes, "But it's time." I was like, "It's time. It's time." So obviously we got a lot bigger office, a lot nicer office, a work spots office where we can have dozens of agents in there, dialing, protecting families, training, and really build that environment. So and getting out of my comfort zone and doing what I need to do on that end. So it's all good.
So when you're obviously you're looking to build a team, like what's a tip you can give people that are looking to maybe start building an agency that applies to both of you? Because you guys are different levels, you have different perspective. If you're looking to build a team, like what kind of conversation do you need to have with these people?
So that's the conversation that I had with him, right? So the expectations now that we set up front are a lot different than from when I started, right?
Same.
And we've all talked about that. It's not saying how easy it is, right? Because it's not easy. The blueprint is very simple, but the work behind it does take a different type of work ethic, right? There has to be that mental switch, structure, and discipline to attain A, B, C, D, right? So if you're willing to sit on Mondays and Thursdays and make 400 dials, right? And on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you'll out of 50 calls, you'll get, let's say you bought 400 leads. Out of the first 50, you'll get 2 that say yes. Out of the next 50, you'll get 3. Out of the next 50, you'll get 1. Out of the next 50, you'll get 0. Out of the next 50, you'll get 3. Out of the next 50, you'll get 2. And that last 50, you'll get 3. That's around 14 to 16 appointments for the next 2 days, right? So we started being very realistic with people and seeing if they're up to that challenge, right? And then letting them know, hey, if you can do this 90 days, think about everything that you've given up in your life or you've put a lot of time into all your life. Imagine you can do this for 90 days. This is what's possible, right? And then meeting them where they're at as well. Because not everybody wants to help 20, 30, 40, 50 families a month, right? So it's really meeting them where they're at, setting the expectation very realistic, and then having their back with that, right? And then obviously, the people who are, visionaries like Chris Chavez, showing him after the basic production level of 20, 30, 40 families a month, what else is in store, right? And telling people after, a couple months, what's up with integrity, what's up with this, what's up with that. And that, keeps people hungry because they know they don't got to sell insurance forever. Right? It's light at the end of the tunnel, which is a great tunnel. It's a good journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
The advice I would give for any new agent coming on board, like don't wait to share the opportunity, start building. I for one wanted to produce at a high caliber before I can have anything to solidify, right, that FFL work. So a lot of us get into that mindset where, well, I want to do it first and try it and see if it really works before I share it. But what's going on there is that to a certain degree, we're being selfish, because what if that person that really, really needs that opportunity at that moment in time, it just something clicks for them and you share it with them and it's life changing for them. It's like, for me, I was at that breaking point. I was at that turning point in July of last year. I was like, man, this is it. Like, I got this license. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm not doing anything. I'm not helping to the degree that I expected to. I'm just going to go back to my office and just weigh it out and retire at 72 years old and just live my life the way
You're supposed to.
I'm supposed to, or that the conformative, the just settling. I was at a point where I was going to settle, but the universe works in mysterious ways, man, and things just fall in your lap. And if that opportunity comes and you don't take it, are you going to sit there and twiddle your thumbs wondering what if, or are you going to take on that opportunity and run with it and see what happens? And so that's what you got to think when you share that opportunity with people. It's like, what if I shared this with Albert and Rob, and Albert just skyrockets up, and he, it changes his family's life and his life.
Yep.
And same thing with Rob. So you don't know, and so that's one thing I would say, like, let people know that this opportunity is here, and let them decide, and not be so, that scarcity of, I need to know all the products first. I need to, get all the
It's the last
carriers
thing.
first. My first month, I was able to assist 31 families, and I only did it with America. Why? That's just, again, it was the easiest platform for me to understand, make trial and error. Lots of mistakes happened between that, but I learned from it that I had to pivot to different carriers and so forth. But again, you don't have to wait,
Right.
for all of that. Just get going and share the opportunity with people. People out there need us.
No, I agree. I think it is out of selfishness. I mean, not necessarily in a bad
In a
way,
bad way,
because being selfish, there's nothing wrong with it. If there's degrees of it,
Of course.
and sometimes our selfishness is because of our ego. Because
Right.
We're afraid that we might not look good if we bring somebody in.
Correct.
We're not established, not making the money that we think that they think that we need to make in order for it to be credible.
Right.
Also, we're some people sometimes, like, we're competitive people. Sometimes you think, like, well, this person comes in and starts outshining me right away.
Yeah.
I'd rather get a head start and build this up first. But
Yeah.
it's a very illogical way to look at it if you're running a business, which we're all here running a business.
Correct.
So, like, if you bring in someone that's better than you, that's a good thing for
Why
you.
not? Why not?
Absolutely.
And the thing, it doesn't have to be all you to know all the answers. You got Rob, you got Bruce, you got
Yeah.
Steven, you got Sean, Mike, you got everybody.
Yep, yep.
Everybody.
Like you got, like I always tell people, I'm like, you don't need to know everything, because they're like, I want to get everything settled first, then I'll start hiring.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Mhm.
you don't need to know anything. Just send them to YouTube. They can't get on YouTube long enough without tripping over FFL content. Right?
Correct.
It's like,
It's gonna
Right.
happen.
why do you need to know everything?
It's gonna happen.
Not to mention the boot camp.
Yes.
The boot camp is
That's
there.
the first thing we do.
That's the first thing that we get our agents on, is the boot camp.
Right.
The boot camp has all that outlined for you, what you need to do, dials and everything.
Yeah. So I think we
have
just
so
need to get
much.
out of that headspace of thinking that we need to be all things to all people. We don't.
Agreed.
We just need to be able to point people in the right direction for the things that we don't know. And then if there's something that repeatedly comes up, I mean, that's actually our responsibility. Like, it's important to your business. Learn it.
Yeah.
Like, put in the work.
Yeah.
Learn it. That keeps you accountable. It's actually
Yeah.
a good thing.
Definitely.
So I think that's something that everybody, if you appreciate what you have, like, why not share with other people? The thing is, it's only going to help you in the long run. It's either going to help you grow your business numbers wise, or it's going to help you grow individually, because you recognize, if you feel that responsibility to perform at a certain level for other people, is going to hold you accountable.
Yep.
So
Exactly. And we have like a lot of, even part-time people, single mothers, things of that nature, where they just need to help another 4, 5, 6, 7 families a month, and that puts their kid in their daycare without it being a problem. That makes, a little extra time here and there. So, it does come down to a selfish reason, but not completely intentional selfish reason. I think it comes back to the ego thing that you talked about. I got to do A, B, and C, and D before a presentation, but you don't know how that presentation is going to affect,
Right.
others.
Right.
So even if it's just another 4, 5, 6, 7 families, which is, we have many people doing that, that
Part-time.
changes lives.
doing that part-time.
Mhm.
Part-time.
No, but I also agree. I mean, once you get someone to helping 4, 5, 6, 7 families to supplement what they're currently doing, number one, it also not only does it give them a little bit more extra, breathing room
Mhm.
financially, but it also puts them into the same space like you.
Yeah.
You can start thinking about,
Visualize
can
it.
I
Yeah,
leave
yeah.
my current position to go do something for myself,
Mhm.
start
Right.
building my business, something for the future.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
Yeah.
Big deal.
I might just go to work.
Go to work.
That's
It
it.
has to take work.
That's it.
FFL will expose your work ethic straight out.
There it is.
Yeah, I think Steven always just use that line. Time will either expose you or promote you.
One or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So figure it out. It's the only thing we can't get back, right? It's time. So agreed.
Definitely.
Well, so speaking of time and work, I mean, this is actually a funny story that Steven used to tell me about you. this before I met you, he was like, I have a guy that just buys a bunch of leads and he goes on the heat map, looks where there's like a bunch of leads. He'll buy a bunch of leads and he'll go out for the weekend. Just like go and help a bunch of families and then he'll go party and do whatever he wants over there. Right? Tell us about that.
So, when I first came in is, in SoCal at the time, we had leads. We're never going to make it an excuse.
Right.
But there wasn't a time where I can just buy 100 leads and just bang it out. Right. Back then. Yeah. Right now it's more abundant. And we didn't, I think I started the instant internet leads barely came. It was just still new internet leads. And then I looked on the heat map. I talked to Steven, I talked to Brandon Kitchens, Bruce Will. They're like, dude, you're single, no kids, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing? I was like, I don't know. Should I leave? They said, leave. They said, get the heck out of here. So what did I do? I just looked on the heat map that is available to everybody on the CRM. I'd buy $1,500 worth of leads. I'd book the appointments. I'd get on Priceline, bundle package, get the car, hotel, and flight. Okay. And I just go out for 2, 3, 4 days to everywhere in the United States. And what I would do all week here, I do in 2 or 3 days there. Right. So, I was able to see, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Louisiana, New Orleans, Hawaii, Kansas City, Missouri. I traveled, the entire United States. And then we marketed that hashtag the All-American Tour. And right when I started marketing that, it gained some traction. By the time I was done my 17-week tour, because it was 17 weeks of nonstop travel, I looked up and I was a VP. Right. So it worked out. We helped an abundance of families, had an incredible time, made friends all around the country, literally. And came back and I was VP, and when I do that, when I say I was VP, obviously it's because the people that put the work in. It's not really what I can do for myself. There's only so much clothes in this you want to get. It's the impact you start to have, how I can teach, lay out the blueprint for him and his family and see how they are now, be able to assist my mom, every month. I put a video out on Instagram on her birthday, January 10th, where I was able to pay the mortgage for 4 or 5 months for her, no problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's the why. I'm not married with children, but it's when that time does come, and for my parents. So it's all that, and that was a lot of work. It was exhausting, but the return on of it is so massive. What we do here is worth it.
So, have you been in a bunch of those cities prior to that?
Never.
Tour?
Never. I've never been to none of those cities, man. None of those cities.
It gave you an opportunity to travel the country,
make friends all over the country. So we're well connected everywhere now. And man, it was an experience too. It was a story to tell.
Absolutely. I remember we haven't formally met at that time, but we follow each other on social media. So I'm like, where's this guy going this week?
Yeah, it was just a different spot, man. I literally come home. Because of how our database is set in the CRM, I just get in there. I look where it is. Boom. I got my non-resident license there. Perfect. All right. Let me book a ticket. Okay. We're good here. Pop, pop, pop. All right. I'm leaving in a day and just bounce.
What were the most fun cities you visited?
Dallas was incredible. We got a lot of love in Dallas. Got a lot of friends out there. So Dallas was great. Houston was great. Philadelphia was awesome. Made sure to have a Philly cheesesteak sandwich twice. Brought one back on the plane as well.
Which one was your spot?
What was it called?
Gino's Pats.
Bob's or Bill's. I think it was Bill's. Derek Steven would know it. It was in a movie before. Bill's. We'll get back to you on that. Yeah. Okay.
DM Rob if you want to know.
So DM Rob if you want to know, man. Louisiana. Oh, New Orleans was incredible. Hawaii was incredible. People who were interested out there. Shout out to Nico and Strat. They're actually agents now in FFL. And they help a handful of families a month as well. So we met them in Hawaii. Awesome. That was an incredible travel trip, man. I think anywhere where you think it's going to be uncomfortable and you end up getting there and you see everybody's human, plus you're making profit on it and helping a lot of families, it's like, it's all good. So shout out to Sean Mike for making a platform like so.
Was there any city you went to that you struggled in, or?
You know what? There was one, even though I just shouted out Dallas, I went because I did Dallas 2 or 3 times. The one time I did, the mask mandate was officially off. So everybody was just having a blast, and it was St. Patrick's weekend. So that was the only travel trip for 3 days. I didn't help one family.
But you had a good time.
but we had a great time. And I recorded a video on myself and said, remember how you feel, but it's okay. The law of large numbers always works out. But besides that, of course, there's going to be ups and downs. But to be honest, that was the only non-profitable trip, I guess you can say. But once again, it's a story to tell. Obviously, there's going to be ups and downs, but it was incredible.
Yeah, but even though that one trip wasn't profitable, I think everyone needs to keep perspective. Like that one trip, there's one batch of leads, there's one dial session. It doesn't define.
It doesn't define out of the 17, 18.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
overall, you're winning.
We're winning.
Yeah.
We're winning. If you're an FFL and you're truly working hard, structured and disciplined, you can win. But I want to always emphasize the key word, man. You've got to work, man. Absolutely. Like this is a 6.5. Even on Sundays, if we do take off, we're working that day, all on the phone still. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Managing your social media, you can get set up for all the admin stuff. I mean,
all that.
There's always work to be done
nonstop
if you want to grow.
Yeah. But it's worth it. It's your own business.
Absolutely.
You can make yourself, abundant, or do that for somebody else who's an employee. So figure it out.
So, obviously we're very blessed now to have this virtual platform to be able to sell virtually.
Yes, big deal.
You can sell over telephone with the telephone sales. Mm-hmm. You can also still go in person. Yep. But I thought that was like a really cool concept you were doing back then, because I was just like watching him like, where's Rob going now?
Stop. I know. I look back now, I'm like, wow, that was a lot.
So even though we have the virtual and telesales platform now to be able to do that, you can run your business that way if you don't want to leave home. But if you got some time, if you want to go check out a different city, if you want to get out your rut, if you're stuck where you're at, move, go do something.
Yeah. So maneuver that energy. Yep.
And plus, what's the worst that can happen? You can go there, meet a bunch of cool people. You can check out a new city you've never been to. Yep. It's an adventure every single time if you keep the right perspective.
Right. Perspective.
So before we let you guys go, if you guys have to give new agents a tip, what would you guys let them know?
A new agent, like I said, don't be scared to share the opportunity with those people that are around you, because you don't know where they are. And, they could definitely use this opportunity. And don't be scared, don't get complacent. Don't get stagnant in your position, if whether you're part-time or full-time. Be willing and open to take constructive criticism, because it's going to help you to excel. And be open to, just being coachable. Yeah. Obviously, folks like yourself, Albert, Rob, and all these folks that you have around you, for all you new agents, don't be scared to ask for help. A lot of the times we handicap ourselves because we don't want to look as an agent that needs help or is not getting it, is not understanding it. So therefore I don't come to you. And I try to figure it all out on my own. And what ends up happening is you get into a place of frustration, and that's where you start contemplating if this is for you or not. A lot of agents have given up on this opportunity, not necessarily here at FFL, but just in general, because of that, because they are scared to ask for help. So check your ego at the door, leave it at the door, be coachable, be open-minded, and just let it all unfold, man. Let it all unfold. The universe is going to take care of all of us, man.
Enjoy the journey.
Exactly. Enjoy the journey. Exactly.
I would say, first thing is, just like he was saying, doubt is always going to surface, right? And doubt is the devil. It's supposed to be there. Fear is supposed to be there, right? Because if there was no fear, everybody would be overly successful, right? So I'm glad there's fear there, because it takes a certain type of individual mindset and work ethic to pass by that. Even when I was here for 6-7 months and I was relatively successful, I still look back after a couple bad weeks and I said, maybe I was lucky those last 6 months, right? I literally look back after 6-7 months. I was like, maybe I was lucky those last 6-7 months. So understand that. Do not overthink, right? Structure and discipline and work ethic is going to be a thing, okay? And give yourself 90 days of absolute focus, and at least give yourself an opportunity to see what family first life can give you. If you're watching this all your life, you've given time to something, right? Give yourself 90 days of absolute focus so you can give your own testimonial. So time is priceless. It's the one thing you can't get back. So figure it out. We're here to help.
Love it. Great advice by both of you guys. Oh, by the way, when the announcement, May 19th, we'll be hosting an LA sales conference here. You guys are invited, of course.
Absolutely.
You guys love
So-
to share. We'd definitely love to have you guys. So it's gonna be a big event. Sean Mike will be coming. We're planning all the details
Oh,
now.
beautiful.
So keep an eye out for that. But really appreciate Rob,
Absolutely.
Chris,
Thanks
both
for
of you
having
guys
us,
coming
bro.
in. Great
Appreciate it,
stuff.
man.
Hopefully it helped a lot of you guys, stuff that you guys can apply, because everybody has something different to offer, and you guys just take whatever you can from these gentlemen here, apply it. Just let's continue to work, continue to enjoy the journey, and let's go out there and be elite, guys. Appreciate you guys.